All right, welcome to The Rinse, again with Drew. This was Misunderstood by Dick and Jane. Drew, how you been doing, man?
Not bad. How are you tonight, Brad?
Pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, man, tell me about the band before we we start
Okay,
going.
so that was a band called Dick and Jane, and they played the college band circuit back in the mid 1990s. I believe that was actually in Chicago. I don't remember the name of the club. I shot most of that footage.
Really?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We I had a lot of fun touring with those guys. Um, Dino is the bassist. Stasia is the lead singer. My buddy Craig is back there on the drums. Jake Burkhart and Kevin Campbell are the guitarists. I mean, they're an amazing group. I'm in touch with most of the band, and that's why we were able to use their music today.
That's
Was
awesome,
I
man.
called and asked them? Yeah. But
So, like,
shout out to Dick and Jane.
what kind of gear did you use? Like, was it like I mean, back then they had to be like this giant kind of video camera, right? Or
No, Brad, it wasn't.
I didn't know they didn't have smartphones in '94.
No.
So,
Okay. What do you think? I helped Alexander Bell invent his shit. Come on, man. No. It was a camcorder. It was it might have been a Super 8 or a mini VHS, but they were probably 2 inches by 5 inches.
okay,
They weren't VHS, but they were a little bit yeah.
No, that's awesome. Have you heard about the so how long were they playing for, I guess? Like just
couple years. Okay. Yeah. We
no, there's
mid 90s.
Have you heard about the Blue Dot issue or something like that, where a bunch of summer tours are getting canceled because there's too many blue dots on Ticketmaster showing like seats not sold? Because you know how you go on Ticketmaster.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
there's too many.
That really doesn't surprise me.
Well,
there's a lot of
Meghan Trainor. Ooh, but I'm like, who the hell wants to plunk down like 150
First of
bucks
all, back it up. Acts like who?
Yeah, Meghan Trainor,
Who?
I think,
How
well,
much
but
is she asking? How much is she
the
asking for a
Pussycat
ticket?
Dolls, you know, Post
They were
Malone, I
talented,
guess
right?
too. That's let's see.
Yeah. Okay, we got a comment in here.
Yeah, no
Right
one wants to
there.
see Hacks anymore. Yeah,
Exactly.
no,
The Pussycat Dolls. Don't, if I'm correct, they really didn't do anything. They just got up
no,
there in dopey little outfits and strutted
yeah, they
like
sang and
pussycats.
yeah, and but I
Yeah.
feel like that's a lot of
Would
musical
you
acts
pay any
that
amount?
used
Would
to.
you pay any amount of money to see that?
Oh dear
Any
God, no.
amount of money?
Well, not
Yeah.
anymore. But you
And
know,
what is well? How much are those Megan Trainor tickets?
probably like in the $100.
I've
But I
never
mean, I
heard of
bet
her.
for she was the one who sang all about that bass. But then she got like super skinny.
She wants money. She wants over $100 to see
Like
her for her two fucking songs.
and she's
Two
playing
songs.
places like
Two.
Deer Creek. Like she was playing like arenas.
When? When?
Like this summer. She's supposed to, and same thing with do you know who Kesha is?
Didn't she sing that fucking milkshake song?
No, yeah, no,
Chat, help us out. Did
it was
Kesha
like
sing the milkshake song?
it was something just like that. But no, Kesha is like the one who sings TikTok. She is just a terrible, I don't know. She has kind of a
And
whiny little voice.
she wants over $100 to see her perform.
But it's the fact that they want to sell out places like Deer Creek or larger venues. Like if you want to charge $100 for, a show, fine, but you better make it like one of 500 people that are in, the theater or something like that. Make it a smaller venue. Don't try to sell that many tickets. I feel like the more tickets you have options for, it's like, yeah, if you make them all $5, you can get Deer Creek filled easily because that doesn't even cost
That's not even going to cover the ticket fees.
no, exactly. All right, let's see what we're going to talk about tonight. We got
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Republicans declare victory over other Republicans. It was a banner day for Republicans, apparently. Then we'll get into Supreme Court and voting rights. We'll get Mark Small out here, and then he'll join us for the rest of the show, talking about Ted Turner and Bobby Cox. IP to them. Drew, you wanted to talk about Turning Point USA, and I'm all for it. We'll get into that a little bit too, and then we're going to end with a little panel quiz. I'm going to flash up some quotes, and we get to decide number one, who said them, and then number two, which party can use them, or can neither party use them. But we'll get into the primaries right now. Drew, the Republicans did very well, I guess. MAGA and Trump endorsements actually appear to have impacted things, surprisingly. I say surprisingly. I don't know. Were you surprised?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't see what good any Republican supermajority does in the first place. And frankly, I would rather see a closer ratio than a supermajority, because these Republicans, they don't feel like they have to actually do anything for we the people. And I mean, come on, a lot of these Democrats have just gone so far over the top with their crazy shit that, I mean, it's either this crap or that crap. So I mean, the Republicans are banking on people thinking that, oh my God, these Democrats are so fucking horrible that I could never vote for that. So, and then with that, you'll also see Democrats or rhinos sneak over into the Republican primary and run as Republicans. Shreve, which Shreve's horrible. Shreve's really horrible. Okay, we have a comment up there. Goodness gracious.
Oh wait, yes. Let's hear about the Tiger
Okay.
Weingarten Eagle.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Tommy. I don't know if any of y'all have ever played Whispering Hills. It's a golf course over on the east side. Brad, you and I are going to play there.
Does it
You'd
have
like
like
it.
that? But it has that little windmill on the 18th hole that if you put it in, you get like a free game.
It has red tees that you can hit from, Brad.
All right, well played.
Anyway, thank you. It was like it's a short par five. I want to say right around 500 yards, and so I hit a really nice driver, and then a new club, which I just bought at the flea market. Actually, I'm pretty stoked about it. From about 217 out, I put it 12 feet from the pin, and Wart, go Wart. Put it 12 feet from the pin and sank the eagle putt. Witnesses, it's great. I mean, it's a great game.
Witnesses are important, you know.
Yeah, right, yeah. But no, I mean it's a great game. It's a shame Whitmer won't play, but
Is
yeah,
it though?
yeah.
I mean,
is it though?
I just mean like, would he add to the mystique and the majesty of the game, or would he?
Would Whitmer? Whitmer would add to anything. Whitmer would add to anything.
I feel like he would roast golf while playing it. That's where, I mean, he would make fun of the fact that we were doing it as he was playing it. I think so. You know,
probably.
Frisbee
We
golf
just need
is based.
Frisbee golf's pretty cool.
But really, that is like the most woke thing and leftist. You know, may as well just join a hippie commune of frisbee golf at that point. Jeez. All right. Well, okay. I do want to say though that I did think it was kind of a surprise. I think Scott Pressler actually made an impact somehow. It made me mad because he actually trolled me back because I called him a tool on Twitter. And
did he yell at you, Brad?
No, it was like 3 weeks ago. And I was like, it was a comment on Hammer and Nigel and Rob Kendall. They were talking about how few people were at Scott Pressler's event. And I was like, yeah, there wasn't anybody at Scott Pressler's event because that kid's a tool. And, you know, the Republicans in Indiana voted the way that their constituents asked, so they shouldn't be punished for this. And that's all I wrote. The night of the election or the night after the primary, I get a response back from Scott Pressler going, "This aged well." Like, you were waiting for freaking 3 weeks to throw that back in my face. Like, he is a tool. Like, that is just a. I'm waiting for Woody to be like, "Oh yeah, you know, that was a based move."
I think he's out. I think. Yeah, there he is.
Very nice. All right. Well,
you know what? Okay. Though, listen, it to me, it's like this. I mean, the candidates that they endorsed did do well,
but there's of the five that won. Who, like, do you think all five will win in November? Like, of DeVries and Schmutzler, Fichter, Powell, Davis.
It just really depends on how out there the Democrat candidates are.
But I mean, this is one of the ones. This is Trevor DeVries, I think.
Yeah.
And he's running.
Trev.
And you know, he's on the Matt Gaetz show.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with Matt Gaetz's face? Does he look like Beavis or Butthead? Look at that.
Both.
Look at that. Is that Beavis? It's like cross between. If Beavis and Butthead had a kid, it would be Matt Gaetz. Absolutely. Look at that guy. I mean, holy shit.
There's like a massive amount of clay being used, it feels like, at this point, like on his head.
I don't know. Is that a lizard mask or what?
Well, actually, isn't he he's actually in the press room at the Pentagon now, too. Thank goodness for that.
Interesting story about Matt Gaetz. Interesting story about Matt Gaetz. I was in D.C. with Piper a year and a half ago or so, and so we're standing outside one of the congressional buildings, and Matt Gaetz comes walking out, and I'm like, Matt, what's up? And the dude actually, he looks at me, he smiles, and he's like, hey, what's up? I mean, totally regular guy. But I also saw Swalwell at the same day, and Swalwell. I mean, I said, "Hey, Eric," and he wasn't real happy to hear me say his name.
Well, I can't imagine that guy's in a good mood at all anymore. I mean, he was living the life, just
He was
getting away with whatever the hell he wanted. Apparently,
he's been holding in farts for years.
I mean, well, but that's another thing too. When he falls, or when a Democrat falls, it's not as if we've been like, I don't care. I'm glad that he's out. If he was being, disrespectful or just a horrible person, like I would want that out. But wait, hang on. Let me see here. He would definitely take the money. And then DeVries has the hardest election.
Fang was not with him, Tommy.
No, wait, who's
Brad,
Fang?
That's the Chinese spy that that Swalwell was supposed to be doing the electric boogaloo with.
Well, wait, let's check in with what Micah thought about the primaries, and then we're gonna go. We'll talk about that with Mark Small on the other side of this. So,
okay, I'll be right back.
Okay,
I can hear you.
Oh, hang on. Here we go.
His caucus outdied. I mean, that's really what happened. The primary job of the leader of a caucus, whether you're the Speaker of the House or the pro tem, is to protect the members of your caucus. And he gave the members of his caucus really bad advice. And listen, I don't dislike Rod Ray. He's a nice guy. He's always cordial. We always have good conversations. But he told his caucus, Trump is bluffing. Don't worry about this. Just vote no on redistricting. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. This is all gonna blow over. And that was really bad advice. And now, I have to go back and look at the numbers, but I think we haven't lost more than 3 incumbents for like the last 15 years in Senate races. And on Tuesday, we lost 5 and potentially 6, depending on how the recount with Paula goes. And so that's huge. And that's no confidence. And so I think, honestly, for the good of the caucus and the good of the party in the Senate, Rod Bray really needs to step down. He needs to resign because you cannot continue to go down this path as the leader when you just led your team to a huge defeat like that. And if there's going to be a battle over Bray, I mean, Trump's going to get involved.
Yeah.
If the caucus wants to vote for Bray again, Trump's going to get involved again. That means you're going to lead the Senate through a whole nother national spotlight battle. That is not good. We just need to get back to being able to govern well with new leadership at the helm. And I think it's time to draft Chris Garton to be the pro tem. I think he's the guy that could do it well and could step into that seat very, very well. He led.
Okay, so that's Micah on WOWO with Caleb Blakesy.
Who's going first?
I just want to say, is Chris Garton, he's the guy that had the AI photos of kicking the crap out of Santa earlier this year, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
We're gonna have the guy real quick. There's a Mark. You're a fan of the band The Who, aren't you? Yes, that's a yes. There's a line in one of the Who songs called "Meet the New Boss, Same as the Old Boss."
Won't get fooled again.
So I mean, if everyone's just like all over Garton's, they're swinging on him. And the fact is that he's voted with Bray like 95% of the time. I think that's the number that I saw. So they're doing a switcheroo if they put him in there. It's bunch crap, actually. I mean, if you look at it, yeah, it's kind of like what they did with the IEDC. They just decided that they switched around some of the board members and maybe the president, but they're doing just the same exact thing that they did beforehand. Hey, Witty, fuck you. Yeah.
Wait, and so him going oh, actually, wait, never mind. This one, the low IQ
Yeah.
take. Okay. I was like, wow, that was like quite a reaction to Psy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I get that one.
Horrible.
That one's hilarious.
No, yeah.
Can I say something now? I mean, I think it's kind of important. First of all, I don't see what the big deal is about Beckwith having a beard. People say he's got a beard and they chuckle. So he's got facial hair. Anyways, when I hear Beckwith talk about how we need to get together so we don't lose and we should avoid the national spotlight. One, I think that if you look at what the Republican Party did, especially in 2012, with the big kind of Tea Party teabag movement going in there, and they beat Lugar in the primary. Congratulations. And then they lost the general election because Joe Donnelly was able to beat Murdoch. So it's not a good thing to look at this last primary and judge the Republican Party won in any way, getting a wider base. And especially when you're looking at the way in which it's alienated so many people. And when I hear, when Drew's talking about rhinos, okay, first of all, don't do that. What is a Republican name only? The people who came on like 15 years ago, 20 years ago into the Republican Party, they were the people who were going against the values the Republican Party was founded upon and been really pushing for years and years. So it's a relatively recent development, but both major political parties are simply not-for-profit corporate entities, which is an irony. And it's just a game taking over those corporate entities to gain advantage in the polls. That being said, you're going to have to look at how people are pissed off at the economy when it comes to the general. And you're also going to have to look at how much voter suppression is pushed so people are staying away from the polls. And that
what would you define as voter suppression? What would you, is a safe idea?
A couple of things, okay? One of two things. One is the natural effect of gerrymandering, where people say it doesn't matter if I vote because the other side or my side is doing so much. Who cares?
100%.
Well, and what is that argument of well, the other side does it, so we should do it too.
Well, no, and that's why we should gerrymandering
makes it worse. That makes it worse.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be called gerrymandering because Patrick Henry did it in elections for the first Congress long before Eldridge Gary, which is actually how his last name is pronounced, before he did it like in 1820 or something. But we should have a revision of the way in which voting can be done. Technically, you can gerrymander. The Supreme Court said it's okay as long as you're not doing it for X, Y, or Z reasons. If you're doing it for partisan reasons, that's okay, which is crap. You're negating people's votes by gaming a system, and it's not based upon getting people who are better suited for jobs or anything or for the office. And it's a simple gaming of the system. I'm sorry. I just think that that's...
No, in one of our comments, that is, I feel like that is like the biggest complaint of like the three of us. I think I talked with you guys both separately about this today earlier, but there's so much more that kind of like draws us together because of our anger at the system that I might be more willing to vote for somebody in the third party just because I'm tired of seeing what we've just been doing. So yeah, the paraphernalia. Thank you for the comment. Voters are ready for a serious change.
Yeah, but on the third party thing, Brad, That's a wasted vote because it funnels down to who's going to, the way that they've got everything set up. Once the Constitutional Convention met, they were all bitching about political parties, factions, and the structure of the government that they created naturally went into two parties. Checks and balances, the majority and minority. And so those are aspects of our system that we're going to have to fix that are really rooted in the system. I think if you go choice ranked voting or whatever it is, one possible way to go. But this last the election coming up and these last primaries we've gone through, I haven't seen stuff like this. I haven't seen as much bitterness in a long
Has
time.
it just gotten worse? Like, I mean, year after year after year. I mean, was there ever
Yes.
like a good time? Like, Mark, can you think of like when you started voting? Was there ever like a that was a nice
Was that the
election.
Hoover administration, Mark, when you started voting?
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Okay, my first election that I worked in or had any involvement in was 1964. I donated 25% of my income to the Republican nominees for president, vice president. I was young and impulsive. I was 9 years old. That's what but when you look at the first ones that I worked in 70, 72, but 74 was during Watergate, and I was working at the Democratic Party tent in Howard County, at the Howard County 4-H Fair. Both parties, we were trying to get people registered to vote. We weren't giving each other crap. And the whole idea was getting people talked into, are you registered? Do you have your ID here? And just getting people registered. When I was working the polls in Broad Ripple in 2006, the Republican person there, and I was working on the Democratic Party, we were both concerned about making sure people were getting to vote. And we were being very helpful with each other. There was 2008, it really changed. And I stopped working then with on the elections. And it just got really bitter then in 2010, especially with there was a thing down at the State House. It was like the first thing of the Tea Party movement. I was invited to speak as comic relief, and I didn't realize what it was. It was just, that was really a very strange gathering, but it's gone kind of worse since then. And look, when I was a kid, there was a lot of violence that was being talked about. A lot of people who purported to be from the Klan were getting rumors started and stuff. But
I guess even with the numbers though, like the primary numbers, I think that are up here now.
Yeah, Mark.
You guys see that?
I had one. Can I get in one question with Mark before we move?
Oh no,
on?
yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
You mentioned Mark. You mentioned 2010 as being a year where you stopped working at the polls. Just that year just resonated. In 2011, Citizens United was passed. What or was ruled on, I should say. What's your opinion on Citizens United? I would really like to know.
It's terrible because anything that you do that allows corporations to act as human beings and prevents people from really exercising their rights, that's not good. And when somebody's saying it's gerrymandered in the Northeast, it's gerrymandered all over. I'm not saying any place it's good to do that. I'm not for partisan gerrymandering. But when you look at Citizens United, that was terrible because it allows entities and individuals to donate to campaigns anonymously, and I think that's bad.
That is bad.
Because and how would you take over the Republican Party in Indiana? It's a not-for-profit, closely held corporation. Can't buy shares. And
What do the bylaws say?
Bylaws, you can't get a hold of copies. Those are you can get the rules, and the rules reference the bylaws.
By the way, I watched a PBS documentary, and our friend Jim Bopp was in it. And
Whose friend?
Our collective friend, the Royal We. No, he was in it, and he was talking. And the reporter was asking him, "Well, why can't citizens find out who are behind these donations?" And he said, "Well, citizens don't want to find out." And the reporter was like, well, I mean, what if they do though? It can't they?
Yeah,
And he's like, well, the only people who want to find out are radical leftists.
that's bullshit.
And I was
That's
like,
that's
no,
bullshit.
that's exactly it was.
That's not true. I mean,
I was very surprised by that. In the way that the documentary, it was a PBS Frontline on YouTube that I saw. It was pretty interesting. But well, Mark, what I guess can we talk about the Supreme Court, just their most recent case with the voting rights? Just kind of lay out for us what the hell that was.
Sure, they're really trying their best to nullify the Voting Rights Act that was enacted in the 1960s by saying that there have to be race-neutral reasons for having reforms of it was a gerrymandered district that had been created. They were trying to even out the number of votes on a racial basis in Louisiana. That's been what they've tried to do since the mid-1960s, going back to right after the Civil War. They were trying to get equal rights for people who had been enslaved, and Reconstruction was working until 1876, when the Republicans cut a deal so that Rutherford B. Hayes could take the presidency, and agreed to pull the federal troops out of the South. That's when Reconstruction ended. And until then, there had been integration. Well, we're seeing the same thing the last 50, 60 years, a little bit longer, because in 1954, Brown versus Board of Education 1 was handed down by the Supreme Court. That was a huge decision on ending segregation. And all the progress that had been made goes all the way through the mid-60s, early 80s, when the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, they were being, when they were reaffirming different parts of the statutes, they're being done unanimously. That is a good indication that people thought it was right to integrate. It was right to try and stop discrimination that had been really invasive in our country for decades. So now the Supreme Court has 6 people on it that had a punch list. They know what they were brought in to do. Barrett was brought on the court to be the person on there. That last vote they needed to torpedo Roe. They've got Alito writing the opinion on Louisiana case on gerrymandering. That it was almost comical reading that, as he was talking about racial discrimination, but really you could change the wording so that he's really talking about discrimination against Black people. It's absurd. I don't know how things are going to be changed, because what you saw then was a big surge of Southern states trying to wipe out completely Black representation in state legislatures and in Congress.
Yeah.
That's a gauge of how bad the discrimination was and why it is we needed to keep the provisions of the Voting Rights Act in. And that's just not how it happened. The other thing that happened was the Virginia case, because the Virginia Supreme Court ruled that the election on redistricting that Virginia, their voters agreed to 52 to 48%, that violated the laws that have been set up for redistricting and for doing redistricting in Virginia. And it's interesting because the court said that the way in which they did it, they didn't do it between 2 elections, because there was a provision there had to be 2 elections before they could go ahead and make that change. But the standard of review of a court under the statutes there and under the Constitution is such that they had to allow the General Assembly of Virginia to make the determination on when it was they were going to hold the election, and also consistent throughout it all. In federal courts and in the state courts there in Virginia, and Commonwealth courts, an election is defined as occurring on that day, the one day. Now, the Supreme Court there said that if you've got it spread out over all time, then when does it start and when does it end, and when did you have the consideration of the referendum? So you had 2 elections. It was really using gobbledygook. The dissent said, no, you have messed up the definition of elections. It's never been disputed. So you have a really bad situation in Virginia where they're now saying, people had already been voting. They're going to have to redraw all these districts. And the thing that's weird about that decision is a state court, the highest court in a state, is the highest authority on construing that state's constitution. What makes it muddy in this is that they cite federal case authority to say that they messed it up, and so you have federal rights involved. I don't know how that would play out, because if you take that up to the Supreme Court that we have in Washington D.C., it's not going to go well for anybody trying to challenge anything Republican. I mean, this is the most corrupt Supreme Court in our country.
So Tom Ice, he had a point. He says that nobody's lost any rights. The best way to get rid of discrimination is to get rid of discriminatory districts. Democrats know about discrimination too. I guess, I don't know if his way of thinking is just that we can vote ourselves out of these kind of districts, can't we?
No. Voting us out or trying to vote around it and do something.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're in a certain district doesn't mean that you can't win. Shouldn't you just be campaigning harder or canvassing, going door to door?
Not necessarily.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
That's why they do that. Go ahead.
Elaborate. Yes.
Okay, so I'll just use the 2024 campaign for the 7th district, where John Schmitz ran against Carson, and we worked our asses off. We worked our asses off. Yeah, no, I worked with John's campaign. We worked our asses off, and basically it came down exactly across party lines, and that's why the Republican Party does not want to put any kind of resources, because it's been gerrymandered so much, so where they had to pull some Republican areas out of the 7th to save Victoria Sparks, and then who else? There was.
But isn't that just saying, though, that you have to get people to not just vote along party lines? Then, I mean, that's really where.
That's a whole hell of a lot easier to say than it is to do, Brad. That is.
Well, I mean, I'm a Democrat, so of course I'm going to say that. Yeah.
We need to talk.
The
about
solution's
that too,
so
Brad.
simple. Come on.
No, I mean, the three of us are smart enough to look beyond the party title, because I will vote for a Democrat that I think is going to be honest and say what they do and do what they say. Mm-hmm. I try to look beyond somebody's political title that's next to their name. I mean, personally, I'm voting mostly Libertarian this time around because it's crucial. But for the most part, man, you have to look at candidates and not parties. They really should outlaw straight party ticket voting. I mean, really, that's totally a bad thing. Totally.
Wouldn't that disenfranchise voters somehow? Or
if they had a look at who the candidates were.
Watching both of you guys go before.
I mean, look, it's when people want to challenge, like there's a reason why they gerrymander, and they gerrymander because, and in Indiana, there are people. My family is for generations voted whichever party. That's what they're going to do. Period. You have to try and get communication to people, and a lot of people just won't listen. Then you also have the problem where it's the momentum that way. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you look at all the different races in which one of the two parties doesn't have any candidates. I mean,
you can use mine as an example.
Yeah.
So when you have, and I'm sorry, but the Democratic Party doesn't speak for me against the Republican Party or anybody else. So when somebody says, well, they got a Democrat on this side, bullshit. When I hear somebody like Bai is running for Secretary of State, I'm sorry, that's basically getting a Republican light in there. You've got somebody who's just right of center. And Drew, when you talked earlier about Democrats with nutty ideas, I look at leftist ideas such as socialized medicine, which every leading country in the world has, and it works fine. We're 37th in the world in healthcare, and we've got the most expensive healthcare.
Perhaps I should have been more clear on what I said when I meant nutty ideas. Okay, so
we need a ballroom.
Let's look at men and women's sports. Let's look at the whole transgender crap. I'm sorry,
but I feel like that comes more from the Republicans than it does the Democrats, anyways. Like I feel like Republicans.
How so? How so, Brad?
By trying to make a law that like something shouldn't exist that isn't like a very overwhelming issue that deserves a law.
That's talking.
It totally
points.
is. But I think everybody bypassed like the high school sports associations, the NCAA. Like they should have been making regulations in just the beginning. They should have made it a law because the law needs to deal with actual shit, not whether or not we can participate in extracurricular activities. I'm sorry.
Have you ever coached girls sports? Have you ever coached 14 to 16-year-old girls softball?
No, but I've coached co-ed 10.
Okay, co-ed does not matter. I'll use an example. I coached 14 to 16 girls softball. That's contact sport, man. I mean, let's face it. It's not contact.
I would strike out a lot in softball, though, too. To be honest,
I'm sure you would, Brad. I've seen you play golf. Anyway, but I mean, that to me is a nutty idea to be that protective over a male that feels like they're a female, that's their right. If somebody wants to say I'm a girl, but the thing is they can't expect everybody to look at them like that. And I'll use another example. A politician who's very, 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 very religious. That's their right to be religious, but they can't expect everybody to agree with them. They just can't. So, I mean
our lieutenant governor would disagree on that.
Well, no, and they also can't expect to put their religion into government, which there is supposed to be separation of church and state. And Drew, let me put it this way: I wasn't prepared to talk about sports like that tonight, and I don't want to sit here and just kind of toss stuff in without at least trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I think that there are a lot of things more important than trying to focus on depriving people of some rights. That's the way you're going to disagree with me on it in terms of the nomenclature. So maybe we could do that on a later time. I'd rather do that at a later time than here.
Brad, another show. Bookmark this, please, Brad.
I shall, because we're going to move on to.
Can I say something real quick, Mark? I'm really glad you're here, man. Seriously, thank you for coming. Thank you so much. You're I've watched you on Mouthwash. I saw you do the hits, and I wanted to talk back to the computer screen when I saw you talking. So this is absolutely awesome. Thank you for coming on with us. Seriously, thank you very much, sir.
I'm looking forward to this every week.
Yeah, Mark, thank you. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, yeah, just as a common bond, I think between the three of us, even though we like different teams, baseball's pretty huge in all of our lives.
Are they still tied for the best record in the league? Because last I checked,
who, the Braves?
It was the Braves, the Yankees, and the Cubs had the best. Were tied for the best record in the league. Actually, I'll look it up right now. As a matter of fact,
the Cubs were just nuts last week. That wasn't. I hate having to give them compliments. But this past week, Ted Turner passed away, and then Bobby Cox passed away. I want to say yesterday morning. Barley, what the hell are you doing? And so Ted Turner, he started CNN, he started TBS, and that is actually where I watched a lot of Atlanta Braves baseball. Bobby Cox was their manager. And I mean, when I say a lot of Atlanta Braves baseball, they were not always good. I remember in the late 80s is like when I remember starting to get into them, and it was always when like WCW was getting ready to come on or something like that, or there was a rain delay, and then we got to watch different things. But the Braves were just a team that it wasn't the Cubs, which I was happy about because WGN was always on too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people either liked the Braves or the Cubs because they were on every freaking day. Yeah, Bobby Cox, I mean, he made it easy to like the Braves too. I think he was like a good manager, just kind of a gentle leader. You didn't, even when he yelled and got ejected and stuff, he just seemed like a grandpa. It was never, it was never too bad. So I don't know if you guys had any memories of the Braves.
I mean, the only memory I have of the Braves really is the Yankees beating them in the World Series in the late '90s. But
that's
it's always good. It's always good to get there, but it's even better to win. They were, America's second team, man.
They were like the Buffalo
Good for
Bills.
them.
I was trying to see ballparks right before they closed, and I saw the Braves the last year that they were in Ted Turner Field, and I had called a guy that I'd worked with, and I the clerk for me, and I said, I haven't taken a trip by myself in years. And he said, look, just go down there and have fun. You'll see a ball game. I check into my hotel in downtown Atlanta, and I don't understand why it is I have to go through 2 security checks to get to the elevators for my room. And I get there, and I decide to pick up 12-pack across the street, so I'm not paying room service for beers. And then I realize, I'm standing in line with a bunch of hookers and drug dealers.
Sounds like a Tuesday to me, Mark.
Yeah, so I get my 12-pack.
That's what all I'm going to say.
I end up going back to the room, and I start watching videos about the French Revolution. Long story there. And I said, well, I'm going to go and try and find some place that has ribs. I went over to this place not far from the hotel, and I'm sitting next to a cop. And so I was having ribs there, and I said, is there a better place for ribs in this city? And he goes, yeah, and he gave me the address. And I said, is that place a place I can go to during daytime? And he said, only daytime. And it's like, well, this is nice. So then I get to the ballpark the next day, and actually the ballpark was really nice, but what the hotel did, they had basically the hotels in that area, you could get on a bus with straight line to the ballpark.
Oh, they got shuttles?
Oh no, it was public, but they arranged some kind of schedule. But it was like I was in a large city. I'm always aware in a large city of having, I don't know where things are, and I know there's crime going around and everything. So some of the hookers and drug dealers are politicians there. Anyways, so I had to go to this. I had to go to a drugstore because a long story there. Because a client, I was getting money wired to me. So I asked the concierge, where is the Walgreens or whatever, and he goes like 4 blocks that way, 3 blocks that way. So I'm going that way, and down there in downtown Atlanta, a lot of the things are like just named after peaches. So I'm kind of lost. I ask a cop on the corner which way to it, and he goes 2 blocks that way, 1 block. Okay, get the stuff that I need. I'm heading back to the hotel. I turn up this hill. I thought it was the same way it'd come. It's not, and it's an open air drug market. And like there are all these bikers on one side of the street, and people pulling up in cars on the other.
That's fucking awesome.
No, I get to the top. I'm thinking, oh, this is great. So I was
going to say, how much cash did you have? Like,
I'm just being very polite. I'm just looking straight ahead. And I thought, if a cop stops me up here and goes, sir, can I see somebody? I was going to say, your buddy directed me there, man. Yeah. But it was just, actually on that, it was very orderly. Nobody was shooting each other. And if they just legalize it, there wouldn't be nearly a problem. But anyways, that was a nice ballpark. It was the last season they played in Ted Turner Field. And that was the one with the Olympics, right?
That was 96.
Yeah, there was one they built in 96. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because
I got a hat that says 19. I got a hat from there. So I got a hat that says
Centennial Park.
No, it says Turner Field, 1997.
Right on.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's
here. While I get, I'm going to get the Turning Point USA stuff up here in a little bit, but we're going to be talking about Erica Kirk and Turning Point, and Drew, this is one of my favorite pictures that I've seen of her recently.
Terrible.
Looking like Michael Scott. You know,
A cross between Michael Scott and Janet Jackson.
yeah.
Maybe.
So
Rhythm Nation, circa Rhythm Nation, maybe.
I mean, how are we feeling about Erica Kirk so far with Turning Point, I guess? How do you feel about her being in charge?
I really don't think Turning Point's anywhere near the same as it was before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he would actually engage people that had a different opinion than him, and they would have respectful dialogue. And since then, there have been people that have tried to do it, but I haven't seen that being made one of Turning Point's main things. But that's what Charlie Kirk did, was actually engage people that had a different opinion and have civil discussions. And we don't have that anymore with Turning Point.
I think he was really good at marketing the civil discussions he would have. I do think there was
ample evidence
of him not being respectful of other people, of him talking over people, of him not following debate protocols.
He didn't follow debate protocol and stuff. I saw outtakes of what he was doing where it looked respectful, but if you look at the full tape of where he was having some kind of debate, it wasn't. When debate has clearly delineated times for people to speak. You can speak for 4 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it is. You don't interrupt the other side when they're speaking, and vice versa. And you respect that, because without that, you're not going to be able to have any kind of dialogue. It's just screaming at one side, basically. And when
we get to that, though, like, I mean, Charlie was, I guess, that for Turning Point USA, and whether or not, I mean, I feel like some of, I think we all kind of disagree on the points of the message and things like that, but I feel like they were effective in getting people to react, whether it was compassion that came out of them, whether it was anger that came out of them. He was a very reactive person, and he would try to, engage with people. I don't know that Erica Kirk is anywhere near that level of.
She's not.
And I don't think she wants to be. Almost like it's very weird to see her try to debate, but she gets so. And I don't know. I don't think it's a sexist thing. I think she gets a lot angrier about certain topics, but I feel like she's still grieving. So I don't know how to. It's a very fine line between accusing her of being angry about something, but still going through what I'm hopefully imagining is it's a big life impact on her. She lost the father of her children. It's got to have an impact, but I don't know that she should be doing all of this in public. Almost, it's like, take a break.
Well, I mean, if they're going to engage in debate in public, they have to actually engage in debate, and it can be not very nice at times. But again, if you're going to have actual debate, you have clearly delineated times, and you make sure that those are enforced on each other. And it's as much the debaters recognizing it. I mean, in college debate, if you started speaking while somebody else was speaking, you get disqualified. And that's not something.
And there's no point systems in these debates, really.
No, but it's the basic principle that even if you're not in a competition where you're trying to get points and stuff, the idea is you can't talk while the other side is talking because you can't hear both sides. Mm-hmm. And in a debate like that, it's inherently weighted towards two sides. And if you want to get into parliamentary debate, you can argue different things, but the notion is the same thing. There's somebody who's chairing the whole thing and saying, no, you've got to shut up, let them talk, or you're doing it with yourselves and saying, hey, I didn't interrupt you, you can't interrupt me. But that's something that's lost in a lot of these things.
We are definitely lacking in that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have a question regarding that. So I'll point to the Republican presidential primary of 2016. where Trump was, they did not know how to handle him. And it was almost like the presidential debate, the primary debates 2016 were appointment viewing, because nobody really knew what the hell Trump was going to say. And since then, though, I mean, where is that guy? Where is that guy? Because it seems like now the guy that we were introduced to in 2016, who was argumentative with the politicians, it seems like now that he's more of
one of them.
It seems like now
it's almost like he was
full swampy.
Yeah. It's like,
no,
who would have
Brad,
seen that
no.
coming?
No, I don't think he was full of shit in 2016.
No,
I think
like
that
there was
was
a lot
his
of people that-
intentions. I think that was his intentions when he got elected, but somehow something has gotten a hold of him between then and now, because the person, and I'll be the first to admit, I voted for him in 2020 and 24. I did not vote. I voted for Gary Johnson in 2016.
Mhm.
But in 2024, the guy that I voted for, which I'll admit it, I voted for Trump in 24, is not the guy that's in office right now. It's almost like he said he was going to do something and then just decided to do the total opposite.
Well, and so when we play those clips that show him promising, to end the Ukraine war on day one, to lower energy costs by 50% on day one, or he made a lot of promises. And when Democrats, when anyone on the left tends to pile all those in a simple line, people who voted for Trump seem to lock up and either get mad that we're doing that, say that we're unpatriotic, that we're rooting for Trump to fail. And it's like, no, we don't want him to fail. We just look at all this shit. So I guess, are we all on the same side on that? Or is it still like...
I think one big problem is that when you look at the Epstein files, yeah, it's bad. All the politicians involved in it, Democrats are in there, probably a lot more Republicans. Who gives a shit on that? But I will say this: the scarier part are the billionaires that are in the Epstein files. And when you see them starting to jump up and take notice and do what it is they're told to do, and that's not from direction of anybody here in the United States. I mean, those connections with Putin, with Epstein, those are pretty clear there. So they're doing things to our society.
Wait, what? So you're saying no. Did you just connect Putin with the Epstein files?
Yeah.
Because I've not heard of his name being mentioned in them. I mean, if you could send me a link, I would appreciate it. Because
let's have more of a conversation. Be glad to.
We'll bookmark this one too.
I've not heard about Putin's name being in them.
Okay,
I just haven't.
Well,
I just haven't.
Drew,
I actually want to ask: is this what we voted for in 2020 then, or 2024?
What is that?
That is a golden Trump statue from the CPAC convention. This is not the most current golden Trump statue, by the way.
You have that one too, Brad?
I do. Here it is. Look how much taller it is than the first one. And look how powerful he looks with his fist up in the air in his little fight. He looks like Hulk Hogan a little bit.
Hulk Hogan's dead.
Yes. And I'm not even going to say anything now because we can't, Drew just 86th straight out of the panel.
Don't use 86. Don't use 86.
Drew,
hey, I'll bring my other one out. I've got an action figure too.
See?
I thought that was we were on at a truce.
That's looking good, brother. Was that a Mr. T and a Hogan?
It is a Mr. T and a Hulk Hogan.
Now,
yes, it is.
Okay, what do you guys? So, Drew, what do you think about this one? This is at one of Trump's resorts, I think. A giant golden statue for him.
I mean, I don't.
Is it
I just
sacrilegious at all?
Sacrilegious? No,
Yeah. You don't.
not at all. Not at all. No, no.
So
no.
you're not buying into the
Sacrilegious?
whole like the golden calf kind of fake idol worship. You don't
So the
view it
golden-
as this at all.
No, I just think. I mean, it's no. I mean, sacrilegious. Is this sacrilegious? No. Is it gaudy? Yes. Is it?
Tacky.
Yes, it's tacky. It's gaudy. But I mean, sacrilegious. No. Who says it's sacrilegious?
People. Um,
What people?
the Pastor Mark Burns is the one who dedicated this statue to President Trump, and
and he
even on
said it was. And he said it was sacrilegious.
No, he had to make a post because he says what
But-
amazes me is how quickly some people have compared this beautiful statue to a golden calf or idol worship. And to me, the fact
Okay,
that you even have
so-
to make that post, just take it down, or I don't know. The fact that you even have to make a post to say it isn't a false idol or anything like that, it just seems like, well, yeah, it is. Then
I just think, I mean, it's funny. Actually, it's tacky. It's pathetic. I mean, I'm certainly not in favor of it, but again, I mean, I realize exactly how little control that me personally has over something like that. But if you think about it, what was that? At least 100,000, right? Maybe $1 million. What does that
dollars?
thing cost?
No.
Yeah. What does that monstrosity cost?
Oh God, I don't even. I
So-
really don't even want to
so-
know that.
So if you think
It's
about
not
it,
gold. It's not gold.
Yeah, do we
it
think
doesn't matter how much it is, Mark. It's still ridiculously overpriced, and I bet you that's over
Yeah.
$100,000. That's over $100,000 of money that's wasted. Now,
Yeah,
okay, $100,000 is over a year of hard work for me. That's over a year of work. Now, that's that's fucking couch money for some of these billionaires. That's the disconnect that we have in today's society. And
yeah,
you've
I
got
would agree with
people, you've got people that aren't making a whole hell of a lot of money that see that statue, and yeah, maybe they are worshiping it like it is some fucking deity. But
I think people
that's
will go visit
ridiculous. But that's ridiculous, and that says more about those people than it does anything else. That's the real room
But it doesn't-
temperature IQ people. Room
they're the
temperature
ones
IQ.
making it. They're the ones making it. Like,
Still. Oh
Mark,
yeah,
what do you got?
golden tears. Thank you, Thomas.
I like it. They're golden. I'm not crying golden tears.
Were those
maybe-
tears? Were those tears promised 3,000 years ago? Just wondering.
Here, let's go to the quote trivia.
Okay.
What I want to do. So this is these are quotes that I found, and they were said by politicians in the past. I want you guys to decide: is it a Republican? Is it a Democrat? Is it a third party that said this? And then also, and then we'll talk about whether or
That's
not
a
either party can
Republican.
use it.
That right there, a people that values its privileges above its principles soon loses both. That's a Republican. Totally.
Mark, what do you think?
Just to be contrary, I'm going to say Democrat.
Alrighty. Let's see. Alrighty. Yep. Dwight
Well,
Eisenhower,
Eisenhower.
Republican.
Ooh.
Eisenhower's one of I love a Dwight Eisenhower quote.
Yes.
Both
I-
parties were pitching to him to run for
Mark,
president.
wasn't that about the
I'm
time
sure.
you first started voting?
was-
Oh, you are just getting these zingers in, Drew. I'm telling
I
you.
love you, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna ask. Okay.
All right. This next one. This is actually like a pretty famous one, so I don't know. You guys might know it. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. Mark,
That
you get to
sounds
go
like
first this time.
Democrat. Oh,
I'm
sorry.
gonna say Democrat.
Okay.
I'm gonna agree with him. Democrat.
All right, Democrat. Now, before we move on to this next one, could either of these two first quotes, could they be interchangeable? Like, would you ever
Yes.
see could you
Yeah.
see a Republican using this quote?
Yes.
And you feel the same on the last one, like the privilege over.
Could have been either one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, Eisenhower was almost in. Both parties were pitching to him.
No, and that's I feel like these two presidents especially, it was a time of like everyone was almost on the same page. We just got out of World War II. We're fighting the same, like we got out of Korea. We're fighting the same kind of battles, and it has just gone to us fighting each other now, and it's a strange time.
Well, and as
So-
John F. Kennedy said to a prime minister of Britain, it was Harold Macmillan. John F. Kennedy said, "If I don't get laid at least twice a day, I get a headache." That was
See, I mean, that's a total Democrat move right there. All right, the last one. Let's see here. And I gotta remove that little guy here. Okay. Always vote for principle, though you may vote alone, and you may cherish the sweetest reflection that your vote is never lost. So,
I'll say Republican.
Republican. I think we lost Drew. Drew, is this Republican?
Yeah.
Democrat?
Vote for principle. Yeah, that's Democrat.
Democrat. Wait, and Mark, you said,
Republican.
oh, you said Republican.
Mhm.
Oh, this is perfect. You guys are both right.
Actually,
No, I know.
no.
I want to use well, because like when people do like quotes from people from the Whig Party, who gets to claim those? You
the
know,
Whigs, they're out in, but that Democratic Republican Party became the Democratic Party because the Republican Party was started in Ripon, Wisconsin in 1854. So this was, but see, John Quincy Adams was a Federalist before that.
Mhm.
Because, and that's inherently against Jefferson. I'd say this one's kind of up in the air.
But okay, so say a new politician comes along in the next primary or the next general and uses this. Is that a Republican thing? Is it a Democratic thing? I would actually say this is like
I would
a
say
libertarian
that-
candidate, like or a
That
third
could
party
use-
candidate.
That could be used by any candidate. That right there, that's a quote that could be used, and yeah, that's just something very politically savvy to say, or very politically connected to say. It sounds like it could have been said by any of them, actually.
Do candidates speak like this anymore, or try to spread these messages anymore?
Well, but wait a minute. Don't hide what happened with John Quincy Adams. Because, no, I mean, John Quincy Adams,
No. Yeah.
when, Andrew Jackson, arguably one of the worst presidents in the history of the United States, had won the popular vote in 1824, was it? But he hadn't won the majority of the electors. So the vote went to the House of Representatives. And when it did, it was a deadlock. And John Quincy Adams could have said no, he won. We're setting groundwork, a precedent for what happens in this country. He won the popular vote. No, I'm not in. Instead, he let everything play out. It gave, was Henry Clay was made Secretary of State, I think. And there was bitterness that arose out of that put Jackson into office for 2 terms, Martin Van Buren for 1. And it really messed things up. So you can look at something like this, and it is like on principle, but he was cutting deals, and he tried to deny that later. He's also the only president to ever serve in Congress after having left office. And he died
Yes, because
That's
Trump,
that's interesting. That's interesting.
I mean, Trump might become Speaker of the House in 28.
Trump's
hey,
not
you guys-
going to become Speaker. Trump's not going to become
No.
Speaker of the House.
No, I'm just messing with you guys. But we're going to go ahead
And
and
the
wrap up.
midterms are going to be a bloodbath.
You think so?
Mark probably agrees with me on that.
Well, what do you guys want to talk
They have-
about? What do you guys want to talk about for next week? We got, you know, I don't even know what yet. I usually just
Brad,
wait
did
until
you,
like
Brad,
day
did you
of.
see what I just sent you?
No.
Yes,
Is
it was more about my eagle, my post.
Oh my god.
Look in your messenger. Yeah.
Hang on. Can we play this? I'm gonna share my screen really fast on this one because
Okay.
it's not what you sent me though. Not that it's not. I'll share that too, but
Devotion.
Okay.
You to join us for Rededicate 250 Justice and Liberty.
wait, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this just came out. This is Todd Blanche. God, I freaking hate this dude.
Justice
Yeah,
and
let's-
liberty are gifts that require our constant devotion. I invite you to join us for Rededicate 250. It's a national jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving on May 17th in Washington, D.C. Let's gather on the National Mall to give thanks for our heritage and rededicate our future to the principles of truth and faith. Be part of this historic day of reflection. Register for free tickets now at freedom250.org.
All right. So if anybody wants to Venmo us some money
Justice
so we
and
can make it out
liberty
there,
are gifts that require our constant.
Okay, Todd. God, friggin'
Who's going first?
AG's name Todd. By the way, this is not the only video. There's another one of this, but by Pete Hegseth, also saying people should
You mean
go to
Keg? You mean Pete Keg's
Kegseth.
breath?
Sorry, yeah, Keg's breath.
Keg's
So-
breath.
So just out of curiosity, how you guys think that's going to go next Sunday?
This are you okay? Can I go first on this?
Go for it.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't trust Todd Blanche as our AG. I didn't like Bondi as our AG. To be perfectly honest, I liked I thought Matt Gaetz would have been an interesting choice. But
Yeah,
but unfortunately this is what we have, and he'll serve for approximately 60 days, and then Trump will appoint someone else. And isn't that how it goes? Like they can do something for 60 days and then
they
change
have
the
something
name.
where he can actually do the rest of the term, I guess, with as many emergency things as they can do. He's
So
fine.
it varies. It varies when you're looking at U.S. attorneys for a specific district versus the attorney general. The attorney
Okay.
general is a cabinet level position. And if you're going to look at what he's doing in not filling cabinet positions, if he doesn't put people in there that'll actually jump whenever he hiccups, he's wanting to keep people off the cabinet that might vote under the 25th Amendment to have him declared infirm. He was doing, I mean, that's one very valid consideration.
Well, my biggest concern with this whole video thing, though, is that it comes from the account of the United States Department of Justice. This isn't from Todd
Then
Blanche.
they never do that, and they should
That's-
do that.
That's not really their lane of traffic now, is it?
It isn't. But Pete Kegsbreath, his came from the Department of War too. So they're using. And again, I guess I don't know if I heard anything that was like overly Christian. It was just, a day of prayer. So I guess people of, all religions are welcome, Shiites and everyone. Right.
Yeah. All religions are welcome as long as they believe in baptism by full immersion.
Well, and they're giving out tickets. So I'm going to go look into that after we get off of here. But yeah, we'll find out more. We'll talk about this next week then, because it'll have happened, because it'll be during the day on Sunday. Oh, and oh my God, by the way, hey, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, because holy crap. We didn't say that at all, you guys. Did we?
No.
Sorry, moms. We love you. I already talked to my mom today, though. So, all right, Drew, any final thoughts before we head out?
No, just
You're just happy
just
that Mark is on so
everybody-
you can respond.
everybody have a safe and prosperous and productive week. And if you see somebody that needs help, help them. Be kind to one another. What else
So
can we
woke.
do? What else?
I'm-
Shut up, Brad.
I still have a
Wokeness.
question. What's
Call
the
me
deal with-
woke, asshole. But
We're gonna-
anyway, yeah, just be kind to one another.
Yeah. No, totally.
Can we do a thing after the show so we can discuss next week? Would that
Yeah,
Yes,
be-
sir.
Yeah, we'll stay on.
Also, I still don't understand the deal about Beckwith and a beard. It got me.
Well, I mean, I think the term beard lends
What?
itself to it, but no, we'll talk about that next week too. So, all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.